Don't even think about buying a used until you watch this. We're revealing 8 cars hiding a ticking time bomb under the hood. Defective CVT transmissions that can cost you over $8,000 to fix. We've dug through owner complaints, service bulletins, and even class action lawsuits to uncover the truth automakers don't want you to know. From sudden loss of power to that dreaded CVT whine, these failures can turn your daily driver into a driveway ornament overnight. Stay tuned, because this list could save you from a financial disaster. Number 8. 2019 Subaru Ascent. Kicking off our countdown at number 8 is a vehicle that was supposed to be Subaru's triumphant return to the large, 3-row SUV market, the 2019 Ascent. Built for families and sold on Subaru's legendary reputation for safety and all-wheel drive capability, these SUVs flew out of showrooms. But a shadow loomed over this big debut, and it wasn't the engine or the chassis. It was the brand-new, high-torque version of their Lineartronic CVT, specifically the TR690. This transmission was engineered to handle the Ascent's heavier load, but it had a critical, dangerous flaw. Owners started reporting terrifying experiences. Imagine loading up your family for a road trip, merging onto the highway, and suddenly the vehicle starts shaking violently, making strange noises, and losing all power. This wasn't a rare occurrence. It was a widespread defect. According to Subaru's own recall documents, a programming error in the transmission control unit could cause the CVT's drive chain to lose tension and slip. Think of it like the chain on a bicycle suddenly going slack. The pedals spin, but you go nowhere. The problem was so severe that Subaru was forced to recall over 76,000 of these SUVs. The official fix involved a software update to the transmission's computer, but this was only a preventative measure. For any vehicle where the onboard diagnostics detected that a chain slip had already occurred, the only solution was a complete transmission replacement, a repair that would cost a fortune out of warranty. While Subaru stepped up with the recall, the 2019 Ascent serves as a chilling reminder that even a brand new design from a trusted manufacturer can hide a catastrophic secret. Number 7. Jeep Compass and Patriot. 2007 to 2017. At number 7, we have a duo of compact SUVs from Jeep that promised rugged off-road looks on a car-based budget, the Compass and Patriot. For a decade, these were the entry point into the Jeep brand. The problem? Underneath that iconic 7-slot grille was a transmission sourced from the most notorious supplier in the entire CVT world, Jatco. Specifically, these Jeeps were saddled with the infamous Jatco JF011E. For thousands of owners, this meant living with a constant, low-grade anxiety. The symptoms are a textbook definition of CVT failure. It starts with a violent shudder or judder when you try to accelerate from a stop, making you feel like you've been rear-ended. Then comes the dangerous hesitation when you need to pull into traffic, where you press the gas, and for a terrifying second, nothing happens. But the most common and frightening issue was overheating. Countless drivers reported that the dreaded transmission overheat warning light would suddenly illuminate during a normal highway drive. This would force the vehicle into limp mode, a self-preservation state where the car can barely exceed 40 miles per hour, turning a 70-mile-per-hour freeway into a life-threatening situation. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a terrifying loss of control. The issue became so rampant that it sparked class action lawsuits, alleging that FCA, Jeep's parent company, knew about these overheating and failure-prone transmissions for years and actively concealed the defects from its customers. The lawsuit stated the obvious: no reasonable consumer expects to face a multi-thousand-dollar transmission replacement on a relatively new vehicle. Yet that's exactly where countless Compass and Patriot owners found themselves, staring at a repair bill that was often more than the car was worth. Number 6. Subaru Forester, 2014 to 2016. Coming in at number 6 is one of the most beloved and trusted names in the compact SUV segment, the Subaru Forester. For the 2014 model year, Subaru made its Lineartronic CVT standard on most models, and the backlash was almost immediate. These Foresters, specifically from the 2014 to 2016 model years, used the TR580 version of the CVT, which quickly developed a reputation for some deeply unsettling and expensive habits. The problems often started subtly: a slight hesitation when pulling away from a stoplight, or a light shudder that you might dismiss as a rough patch of road. But soon, those minor annoyances would evolve. Owners reported loud whining noises that grew in pitch and volume with speed, a classic sign of internal bearings and pulleys wearing out far too prematurely. The car would feel sluggish, jerky, and unpredictable, destroying the smooth ride a CVT is supposed to deliver. The complaints became so widespread that Subaru couldn't ignore them. They issued multiple technical service bulletins, TSBs, to their dealers, and eventually, in a clear admission of a widespread defect, they extended the powertrain warranty for these models to an unprecedented 10 years or 100,000 miles. This warranty extension was a lifeline for many early owners who experienced failures. But here in 2025, the clock has run out. Most of these 2014 to 2016 Foresters are now well past the 100,000-mile mark, leaving their current owners completely exposed to the staggering cost of a full CVT replacement when, not if, it finally gives up the ghost. Number 5. Nissan Murano, pre-2025 models. At our number 5 spot, we have a crossover that proves that even a brand's more expensive, premium models aren't safe from disaster: the Nissan Murano. For years, the Murano was marketed as a stylish, comfortable, and upscale alternative to the mainstream, but lurking beneath its sleek bodywork was the same defective genetic code that has plagued almost the entire Nissan lineup: a failure-prone CVT supplied by its subsidiary, Jatco. This is particularly infuriating for Murano owners, who often paid thousands more than they would have for a Rogue or Altima, believing they were getting a superior, more durable vehicle. Instead, they got the exact same script of transmission failure. They experienced shuddering and jerking at low speeds, the engine revving wildly while the car struggles to accelerate, and the transmission overheating on long road trips. These weren't isolated incidents happening on high-mileage, neglected cars. These failures were being reported on vehicles that were just a few years old, often with only 60,000 to 80,000 miles on the odometer. One Canadian study indicated that a shocking 47% of Muranos built between 2010 and 2018 experienced CVT failure before even hitting 90,000 miles. The repair bill is a gut punch, with a full transmission replacement often quoted between $7,000 and $8,000. But here is the ultimate proof: the smoking gun, the undeniable admission of guilt from Nissan itself. For the redesigned 2025 Murano, Nissan has officially ditched the CVT. They are replacing it with a traditional 9-speed automatic transmission sourced from the respected German supplier, ZF. An automaker does not abandon its own signature technology after decades of use unless it knows, without a doubt, that it is a complete and utter failure. They know it's broken, and they're finally running away from it. We're halfway through our list. If you're getting value out of this, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe. Number 4. Subaru Crosstrek and Impreza, 2013 to 2015. Returning to the Subaru family, our number 4 spot goes to the wildly popular duo of the Crosstrek and Impreza from the 2013 to 2015 model years. These cars were a massive sales success, offering the security of all-wheel drive in a compact and affordable package. Unfortunately, just like their larger Forester sibling, they were part of that early, deeply flawed generation of Lineartronic CVTs that have tarnished Subaru's reputation for reliability. And here, the problems became very specific and well documented. Beyond the common complaints of shuddering and hesitation, these models were particularly known for failures of the CVT's valve body and its torque converter. The valve body is the complex hydraulic brain of the transmission, directing fluid to control the gear ratios. When it fails, the results are chaotic. Owner forums from that era are a graveyard of horror stories. Cars that suddenly refuse to accelerate, engines revving with no response, or loud grinding noises upon starting from a stop. Many drivers reported that their car would suddenly stop moving in traffic, either in drive or reverse, accompanied by a host of warning lights on the dash. The issue was often traced back to a failed torque converter lockup solenoid, a small but critical part. However, Subaru's design meant you couldn't just replace the cheap solenoid. The entire expensive valve body assembly had to be replaced. The problems were so pervasive that these cars were also included in Subaru's massive $1.5 million vehicle warranty extension program. It was a temporary relief, but just as we saw with the Forester, the 10-year 100,000-mile safety net has now expired for most of these vehicles. What was once Subaru's headache is now a financial nightmare waiting to happen for the current owner. Number 3. Mitsubishi Outlander and Lancer, various early 2010s models. Crashing our list at number 3 is a harsh reminder that Nissan's CVT plague didn't stay contained within its own brand. Mitsubishi, particularly in popular models like the Outlander, Outlander Sport, and Lancer from the early to mid-2000s decision to source their CVTs from Jatco. As a direct result, they essentially imported the exact same litany of failures that were destroying Nissan's reputation. The experience for a Mitsubishi owner of this era is a carbon copy of the Nissan nightmare. You get the same dreaded overheating warnings on the dash, the same high-pitched whining that signals a transmission slowly eating itself alive, and the same eventual, catastrophic failure that leaves you stranded on the side of the road. Now, you might notice that Mitsubishi doesn't generate as many headlines for CVT failures as Nissan. That's not because their transmissions are better. It's simply because they sell far fewer cars. The failure rate of the Jatco units remains a massive liability. Online owner forums tell a very clear story. The only people who seem to have a fighting chance are those who were obsessive about maintenance. Owners who religiously change their CVT fluid every 30,000 miles report better longevity. But many owners simply followed the manufacturer's less frequent service schedule, or worse, bought the car used with no service history. The sad reality is that buying one of these used Mitsubishis today is a total gamble on the previous owner's diligence. If they slacked off on fluid changes, you could be just a few thousand miles away from turning your budget-friendly used car into a very expensive lawn ornament. Number 2. Nissan Sentra, 2012 to 2019. Our runner-up for the worst CVT on the brink of collapse is perhaps the most infamous offender in the history of this technology, the Nissan Sentra. For nearly a decade, Nissan equipped its best-selling compact car with a CVT that felt like it was engineered with a self-destruct sequence. These transmissions, part of the Jatco CVT8 family, are so notoriously bad they have been the target of multiple class-action lawsuits and have almost single-handedly obliterated Nissan's once-decent reputation for reliability. The stories from Sentra owners are the stuff of automotive nightmares. Failures have been reported at shockingly low mileage, sometimes as early as 40,000 or even 20,000 miles. The symptoms are legendary in their awfulness. The car completely loses power on a busy road. It shudders so violently when leaving a stoplight that the whole car shakes, and it makes a noise best described as a blender full of gravel and nickels. The core problem is a cocktail of poor design choices. Investigations and lawsuits alleged that the transmission's cooling system was woefully inadequate, causing the fluid to overheat and break down, which in turn accelerated wear on the internal components. The internal steel belt and pulley components were simply not robust enough, leading to premature and catastrophic wear. Nissan was buried in an avalanche of complaints, forcing them to extend warranties and settle lawsuits. But that offers zero comfort to someone buying a 2017 Sentra today, which is now far outside of any warranty coverage. They are left holding the bag for a repair that costs anywhere from $3,500 to $8,000, a bill that, in many cases, is more than the entire car is worth. Number 1. Nissan Altima, 2013 to 2018. And that brings us to the number 1 spot. The single CVT most on the verge of total collapse in 2025, the undisputed king of transmission failures, is the Sentra's bigger and arguably much worse sibling, the Nissan Altima, specifically from the 2013 to 2018 model years. The Altima was designed to go head-to-head with the titans of reliability, the Toyota Camry and Honda Accord. Instead, its Achilles heel was its disastrous Jatco CVT, which turned the Altima into a symbol of unreliability. This is the pinnacle of automotive frustration. The Altima, a mainstream family sedan, suffered all the same failures as the Sentra, but often in even more dramatic and dangerous ways. We're talking about countless documented cases of the car suddenly and completely losing power while merging onto a freeway at 65 miles per hour, an absolutely terrifying and potentially fatal experience. The CVT judder became so common, it was practically considered a standard feature. These transmissions would consistently fail between 40,000 and 80,000 miles, a laughably short lifespan for what should be one of the most durable components of a modern car. The mind-boggling number of failures led to massive class action lawsuits, which Nissan eventually settled, but the damage to its reputation was irreversible. What makes the Altima our number 1 pick is the sheer scale of the betrayal. People buy mid-size family sedans for one primary reason: dependable, stress-free transportation. Instead, Nissan sold millions of Altimas with a transmission they allegedly knew was fundamentally defective. Even today, these cars litter the used market, tempting unsuspecting buyers with their low prices. A cheap 2016 Altima might look like a fantastic deal until its transmission grenades a month later, leaving you with a worthless car and an $8,000 hole in your bank account. The promise of the CVT was a smoother, more fuel-efficient driving experience, but for hundreds of thousands of owners of the vehicles on this list, that promise curdled into a financial nightmare. These transmissions represent a catastrophic failure of engineering, and in some cases, a stunning betrayal of consumer trust. They are a ticking time bomb for unsuspecting buyers in 2025. And if you enjoyed the content, smash that like button and subscribe for more auto content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.